I'm Bobby Sciacca of Sound and Fury Brewing, and this is the Brewer to Brewer podcast from All About Beer. My guest is Manny Salvatori of Blind Cat Beer Co. in Pittston, Pennsylvania, and he is here for a conversation that goes beyond the brew house and into topics that matter to brewing professionals and curious beer drinkers. First, please visit allaboutbeer.com and follow on social media at allaboutbeer. And to support journalism in the beer space, check out allaboutbeer.com/support. We'll get into the conversation in just a moment, but first, this message.
Today's episode is brought to you by StompStickers.com, trusted by thousands of breweries across the country. They've been printing for over 30 years, and they know beer branding inside and out. Whether you need beer labels, keg collars, coasters, beer boxes, or more, they've got the expertise you need, all backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Try your first run with StompStickers.com and get 15% off with code TRY15. That's TRY15 by visiting StompStickers.com. This German flavor break is brought to you by Weyermann Specialty Malts, crafted in Bamberg, Germany, and trusted by brewers worldwide for depth, color, and flavor. With a portfolio of over 90 malts, Weyermann provides the tools to build anything from crisp pilsners with Pilsner Malt to rich Märzens layered with Munich and Vienna. Even complex dark beers using Caramunich and Special W. Whether you're refining a classic European style or pushing modern recipes, order Weyermann from RahrBSG. As an industry-leading keg management partner, Keg Logistics delivers premium stainless steel kegs with the flexibility you truly need. Whether you're kegging your first batch or scaling your distribution, choose the program that fits. Rent to own, flexible term leasing, or pay per fill. Get top-quality kegs without massive upfront costs and terms that grow with you. Thousands of brewers, cider makers, and wineries trust Keg Logistics to keep production flowing. Head to keglogistics.com/allaboutbeer for your custom quote. Keg Logistics, your kegs, your choice.
Welcome, and I'm very pleased to have Manny Salvatori as my guest today. He started as a Philadelphia-based home brewer in 2010 and then started his professional brewing career with the Bronx Brewery in 2016, first as an intern before getting hired as their first packaging manager. He was named head brewer in 2020, and in 2023, he moved back to Pennsylvania to brew at Here and Now Brewing Co., while also building what is now Blind Cat Beer Co., which he and his wife Brittany officially opened at the end of 2024. He says life has been great ever since. What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? Good to see you again.
You too. How was your day? How was your corn? You want to talk about your brew day? You want to just dive into it?
Yeah, it was cool. I picked up some local cracked corn to brew a Mexican style lager, and I don't really have a great way to cereal mash, so I just went for it for the first time and heated up the HLT to 200 and mixed my corn for like probably about an hour and then mashed it on top of it, and it was overall a great brew day. I have no complaints. I'm curious to see how it tastes.
Someone clearly went to the Mexican lager CBC course.
It's funny because we brewed this beer before, and we usually get. I mean, the first time I got Bloody Butcher corn from Double Eagle in Pennsylvania, and that was cracked. But with theirs, I think it's already gelatinized, so you could just add it right into the mash. This one wasn't, but like going to that seminar, it's funny. We're like in the seminar and they're talking about corn grits. Like if somebody has like a grits mill, and I texted my brother who handles our spent grain and knows the folks that own the local grain mill. And I was like, can they make this corn into grits?
Did they do it?
No, they just
okay.
I thought about putting it like a handful through my mill just to see what would happen, but I was like, not today.
Yeah. How was running off? How was any problems?
Man.
I guess corn isn't rice, so it might not be as bad as using just whole or cracked rice.
Now that I'm home and we're doing this, I could say that it was a very, very smooth brew day. It was great.
Awesome.
It was great, honestly. Yeah. I was very surprised.
Very cool. Very cool.
I guess to see what the local corn brings to the table,
Yeah, no, that's cool. every conversation that I've been having over the last couple of weeks just make me want to try whether it's new processes or new ingredients. Like I've been seeing someone who has a maltster from upstate New York a couple of times this year so far, and every time I'm with him, like I need to just use it. I have to just like I'm not afraid of using it. It's just it ordering like the amount that I would need to order for it to make sense just doesn't make sense for us. So I'm kind of waiting for the right time to like go in on a pallet with someone or just like when someone's like, "Oh, hey, I have a couple extra bags, like, do you want to buy them?"
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's that's been on my radar for a while now and it's just about like actually making the moves to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
every conversation lately has been like, "I tried this, that's new. I tried this, that's new. This is cool. You
Yeah.
should do this." And it's awesome.
It's one of the beautiful things about like owning your own place and being able to really do whatever you want, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, corn is also like if you could find local corn, it's super cheap. I think it's $11 for a 50-pound bag.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah. So like if it works for the better, we'll keep using it no matter what. If we have to like we'll try this this batch and then if I have to add more or take some out, we'll just go from there. But yeah, the price is insane. It's amazing to when you can source local and it's like affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was I think I sent you a podcast earlier that I was listening to and that guy was talking about rice and he was like, "Yeah, it's like $20 for a 50-pound bag of rice that I just go buy at
Exactly.
the local store." It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome instead of buying whatever marked up thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I also haven't cereal mashed and I don't think I have a great space for it either. I mean, I don't know. I've been talking to people about doing decoctions on my system, so I don't know. Just he was like, "Yeah, it'll make your brew day like I don't know, like 5 hours longer." I'm like, "Okay, okay, cool, 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 cool." Uh,
Yeah. If there's
well,
a will, there's a way, man.
I'll try it one day. Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah. Pick the
I
right
have
day.
I haven't brewed the right beer yet for it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's probably not
Mhm.
true. That's maybe just me making excuses for myself.
Pick the right day. Pick a day where that's the only thing you have to do.
I know, I know. Maybe going on like 4th of July because no one's gonna be there all day and just
There you go.
like
Yeah.
rip
The day
it.
you're not open for business, just
Yeah, there's like 4 days a year and it's like Christmas and like Thanksgiving. It's like I don't want to go in on those days and brew.
but if you want to try something new that might add 5 hours to your day, then
There you go.
that's the day.
Maybe
Maybe
I'll
it's
keep
just
that
the
on my calendar.
fireworks.
4th of July I think is on a Saturday this year, but I'll do it anyway. It's fine. Anyway, I guess let's jump into some questions that I had written for you.
Sure.
I guess we'll talk about your location being in Northeast Pennsylvania, kind of a little south of what is the lower Western New York, I guess, like kind of by Binghamton, right? That's where you guys are, a little
Like
south of there.
probably an hour and a
Yeah.
chance in
So
Binghamton. Yeah.
yeah, you're north of Philly, probably 2 hours. You're south of Binghamton, hour and a half, 2 hours. Scranton is the closest major city near you. How has like the area kind of dictated what you guys have started making and remake and have tried and failed, tried and succeeded? Just like what have you noticed about the area that you're in versus because you've kind of brewed all over, so you've seen a lot of different places. So
Yeah.
what feels different about Northeast Pennsylvania to you?
I think what was easy is like we grew up here, so we kind of knew like we turned 21 here. We kind of knew like what
Yeah.
the vibe was already.
Yingling is the vibe.
Yeah, Yingling. I mean, light lagers are you have to have one, and we do. But I don't know. I feel like the craft beer scene or the beer scene in general here is like just shifted with any kind of like change that has happened, and like people are open to trying new things that they've never heard of before, and there are definitely some styles like we have a light lager, our flagship, which we from like conception of Blind Cat Beer Company, a Pilsner was always going to be the flagship beer, no matter how many times I had to like brew it to get it right, and it's finally there, I think. We have that. We have other lagers. We have like this double IPA that crushes right now. This the second time we brewed it, and it flies. But we have 16 taps, so we also have room to experiment. We just try to keep a wide variety on, so there's something for everybody. Um, right now the Pilsner is the only thing that stays on, and then everything else kind of rotates. And not to like sound like arrogant in any way, but like we have a pretty good reputation for our quality, and I feel like people are comfortable coming in and trying anything we make.
Yeah.
We're a year and a half in, so at this point, it's like we've brewed like 55 batches of beer in the first year and a half, and now we can kind of see like beers we should make often. Beers maybe that we could brew like once a year, maybe some beers that we don't brew again, or we just adjust the recipe and give it another shot or whatever. But in all honesty, like there's only one beer that we've had in the last year and a half that I took off the menu. Probably not early. It was like we had it for like 6 months, and I just was tired of seeing it up there. And around 6 months is where I just know that from my history in brewing, like that's where quality like kind of starts to dip in certain styles. So like it was about 6 months old, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to serve this anymore. So I think out of 50 some batches, only taking one off a little early, and we probably had like one and a half, basically 3/4 of a barrel that we ended up just not selling anymore, and it sucks. But out of 50 some batches, I'm pretty okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if something sits around for too long or if you're just always tasting it and it kind of falls out of spec of what you think is the quality of your beer, then I think it's always the right move to pull that. So I think,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I
Exactly.
think a lot of people will understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. It was just like like even when we put it up, I was like, this beer's pretty good. Like I could drink it, but I also have to remember that like I'm not the one that's really drinking it, you know? And that's kind of tough for me to like always think about that. Like there's definitely going to be some beers where I'm like, I don't love this beer, but other people will, you know, or might. And yeah, it's hard like when you're the only one in production to think that way, you know. What are other people? What
Story of
are
my
other people?
life.
Yeah, exactly. So, luckily we have a good team. With like Britt, myself, we have two part-time bartenders, and um, get their input and some other friends' input. There's some regular customers that come in, and I'm cool pulling tank samples and like sharing it before things are ready if it's new, and seeing how people feel. And um, yeah, for the most part, I've been like happy with 99% of the things. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like people are just pretty okay trying those new things.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I was at Sand City, one of my favorite things was when we would open at noon like every day. So I was there until 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and a lot of regulars there. We were just like the local spot at the time, and so saw a lot of people all the time. And anytime we would have something new in a tank that was like either just crashed or carved and ready to package the next day that I was excited about, I just like run a sample over to someone and be like, "Oh, try this." Like, "Oh, with this," or like if there was a batch that we like rebrewed and it's like, "Oh, this batch is really cool." Like run upstairs and give someone a sample of that. That's always like I don't ever bartend really, so like I don't have a lot of interaction with customers. Like you bartend, so like you see that side more often, but like the little that I see of it, my favorite part is just like running over this beer that's like not on draft right now, and it's like, oh, try this. I'm really excited about this. It'll be on in 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess like the hard part is when people are like they clearly don't enjoy it, you know? Or they just
Yeah,
like don't like that style. Like we have this one dude that comes in. He's awesome. He's there all the time, and like he doesn't like lagers at all. And we brew a lot of lagers, so it's like,
yeah.
hey, man, give this a shot. I already know his reaction is gonna be like he'll say something goofy like it's digestible or tolerable or something like that, you know?
But
And
at least you guys are on the same page, and he's not just trying to like
yeah, for sure, for
make
sure.
nice and just be like, oh no, no, it's good, and then like is throwing up in his mouth, kind of
Exactly, yeah.
thing.
No, it's cool. But like then, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
some people that are brutally honest about things, and
I have a friend that has a small brewery in Long Island, and he has one friend that comes in that for some reason loves non-carbonated IPAs.
mhm,
So he'll pull a couple of cans before he carbs the beer, or like he'll figure out some way to like make it not carb. I don't know if he shakes the cans or not, but he will set aside a couple of cans for his friend that when he comes in, he'll give him those. It's crazy. Like
Yeah, people like what they like, man.
the thing you do for your customer, you know, like
Yeah,
it's that's
exactly.
I think that's really cool though. Like I think that instead of like rolling your eyes and being like, "Oh, well, you'll come around to it," or I don't know. There's a lot of snarky things that you could say or do, but I think
Yeah,
just like kind of giving into it, being like, "Okay, you like this thing, you're my friend, you're a regular, like this is for you."
yeah.
I think that's
Dude,
cool.
we had this one customer. The first time we brewed the Italian Pilsner, this one customer, she tried it and she's like, "This would be really good with Italian seasonings." And I was like, I don't think you want to do that. And the next time she came in, she literally brought oregano and like put it in the glass. And I think she took like 2 or 3 sips and handed it back to me. I was like, I told you, you probably don't want to do that. Like if I thought I should add oregano to this, I would have done it.
It's
Yeah,
just
but
hops are
people like what they like.
seasoning, oregano is
Yeah,
seasoning. What's
exactly.
the difference, you know?
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
it's all flavor.
Pelletized oregano.
Oh my God, that's an idea. That's what
Yeah,
Northeast Pennsylvania is doing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're insane. But yeah, people like what they like, man.
They sure do, and that's okay. That's why
Yeah,
it's craft
exactly.
beer and there's something for everyone, I think.
Exactly.
I hope. I hope if you're going to a brewery, I hope there's something for you. You know, a lot of people try really hard to make something for everyone if they can.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, I don't want to like, I know we don't have like a ton of time, but like going back to that question, like I brew a lot of classic styles, but I also like to get weirdly experimental and brew things with like mushrooms and
Yeah,
I've
I feel
been
like you're the only place that I've seen have two different styles of beer with mushrooms.
yeah, I don't know. I like to cook. I like to make beer, and why not bring them together? But it's cool to see people like we did this Dunkel lager with Odell Brewing with shiitake mushrooms, and we brewed it out there once. We brewed it here twice, and like people love it. And then we did an Imperial Pilsner with King oyster mushrooms, and that beer lasted a little bit longer than I would have liked it to, but still like within that 6 month mark. And it it's cool that again, like people will come in and just try anything, and if they like it, they'll drink it. And I think it really did surprise me. And then the other thing that surprised me was Keller beer. I just didn't, and maybe they don't know, but I just didn't know that people around here even knew what a Keller beer was, and that's probably just like selfish and moving from here to Philadelphia to New York City and then back to like the small town life. But man, we put a Keller beer on when we first opened, and it flew. And then we put another one on, and it flew. And people are like, "When's the next Keller beer coming on?" And I was like, "Man, this is like kind of bonkers right now." I just did not. People surprise you, and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you think about like Pennsylvania, one of the breweries that I always think about there is Forest and Maine, and that brewery, like
they're great.
their biggest thing is English beer. And
Yeah,
in New York City, I think there's only like one or two breweries that ever have English beer on because it just like doesn't really move for most people, and like that's what they make the most, and it's awesome. Like I went there before I came up to you a couple months ago, and I bought some cans, and I think I managed to get like six different cans of bitter, mild,
yeah,
whatever it was. They were all different, and they were all English styles. And I think that's so cool that like
yeah,
that area of Pennsylvania is like, yeah, we love that you're doing this, and we love this. And I think that more places need to have their styles kind of like have a unique style to like the area, which
yeah,
I don't know. I think New York is so big and there's so much going on here that there's a lot of styles here. But yeah, no, it seems like the thing out there is a lot of like traditional styles,
yeah.
which is
I
cool.
mean, we don't have that many breweries close. Like we're all pretty spread apart. Everybody's doing their thing. They're doing it differently, and I like to think everyone's doing well, which is awesome.
Yeah. Back to you talking about using local ingredients. Blind Cat opened with a mission statement of being an earth-friendly brewery and sourcing local. And you mentioned that your brother takes your spent grain. When you were thinking about opening the brewery, how did the idea of being an earth-friendly brewery come about, and then realizing that idea and following through with it? How has that actually been now that it's been what, almost 18 months that you've been open?
Open, yeah.
Yeah. So how has, from mission statement in like planning to inception to like opening now and being brewing 55, 60 batches, how has it been doing all that stuff?
It's been good. I mean, the way it came up is just like this is kind of how we live our life. You know, we Brit at one point owned a refillery, which is a store where you um like restock everyday goods in like clean like the same clean jar you already used to prevent single use plastic, you know, and going to like the big box stores to like buy those things. So it'd be all these like jars of soaps and with pumps in it, and you could just like fill whatever you want. And whenever we're buying anything for home, that's just like the way we think. And when we started talking about the brewery, we were like, we should probably be an earth friendly brewery. That's like how we live already, and um, it just makes a lot of sense. And there's so many things you could do. And like I even remember going to a sustainability. My very first CBC was in 2018 in Nashville, and the idea when we went, Bronx Brewery sent us was to like go to seminars based on our the position that we worked in the brewery, and I was a packaging manager, and there was like one packaging seminar, and I was like, what else is like interesting to me right now? And there's a sustainability seminar, and I went to that, and that was like life changing. You know, like they just talked about water, just calculating water and usage, and just different ways to save. And I don't know, like that stayed with me since 2018, and then yeah, Britt had the store, and then when there's just so many ways you could be sustainably focused while running a brewery, and sometimes people don't think about those things, and it could be expensive and it could also save you money, and it kind of like balances out in the end. It's definitely more difficult than I thought it would be, especially with the cost of local ingredients. Like you want to source locally, and you want to support the local farms, and but we're a small independent brewery, and you know, sometimes like every month is a nail biter. So you're like, oh, can I buy grain for $1 a pound and then have it delivered? Or what can I do? So, the first year we were open, we used 80% Pennsylvania grain, and it was amazing. It literally was amazing. Um, Financially, it was a little tough. So we've knocked it down a little bit. We always have Pennsylvania grain on hand. So we're always using at least some. Um, but sometimes we have to offset the cost by sourcing other grain. And like the one thing opening a brewery is that like there are so many suppliers that I've never tried before and I would like to. So it just gives me the opportunity to like try some suppliers I've never gotten the chance to before, you know, and meet new people and just see what else is out there. We didn't order from that many different places at Bronx or like 3 or 4 different varieties or whatever, but um, I don't know. It's cool. Like I can still dabble with other brands while focusing on at least having some Pennsylvania ingredients in there. But that's not like the only thing we do. Like we have like a long list of things we do that make us earth friendly. We most of our tap room is secondhand furniture. Even our draft system is like this cool cabinet I found on Marketplace, and then we found two like micromatic brass 8 faucet tap towers on Marketplace. We went and picked them up like a couple hours away, and we just like pretty much built this really cool, fun secondhand tap room. And then whenever like we had all these chairs that were like, all right, these are gonna last for a little while, but I don't know how long they're gonna last. They're like these like vintage caned chairs, and like little by little they started like ripping as people like singing, like people let their kids like jump on them and like dogs like climb on them, whatever. But we just like we'll sell them busted on Marketplace and then use that money to buy like not new chairs but more Marketplace chairs. So we have like we're always looking secondhand. Like even like all of our kegs are used. Whenever we need anything, it's usually like looking on Marketplace first or wherever.
And
Um,
you're buying a lot of merch, or like not merch at the time. You're going to thrift stores and thrifting a bunch of jackets and shirts, and
yeah,
you're just putting that's awesome.
yeah. We have a really cool secondhand embroidered merch line where we thrift. really, really, really cool, unique pieces of merch, and have them embroidered locally. All of our merch is printed locally. It's all on like 100% cotton, like as sustainable as we can be, like really good quality merch. Um, and what else there's so many things we do. Like we use earth friendly chemicals. We were working with ChemStation for a while, but unfortunately they don't really service our area. We're a little outside their boundaries, so we're kind of parting ways with them, but we still use like PBW. And in the event that I need to use something stronger, I'll use something stronger. We have flow meter. We try to calculate our water as much as possible. We have a CIP skid so we can recapture chemicals that aren't like too dirty and reuse them.
I miss having a skid so bad, man.
Yeah, that was like
They're,
a huge
they're
thing when we were opening. Was like we need a skid. Like I need to be able to recapture things. It really comes in handy when you're passivating.
yeah.
People
Even
probably
just
don't think about
like
that, but with
even just
the
the idea of like doing for a transfer if I need to clean a hose, there's no like real I have brinks, I guess, that I could do it in, but a skid, that was
yeah,
my favorite thing about the Bronx cellaring in the Bronx was that skid was awesome.
yeah. I will say though, like you've seen our place. It's not very big. Our skid is massive, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it takes a lot. Like I'm always moving it. Like no matter what I'm doing, I have to move the
At
skid.
least it's on wheels. At least it can tuck away somewhere. It's fine.
It's on wheels that work. You never got to experience the wheels at the Bronx that did not work, and that skid was like the worst thing. You never wanted to move that thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I guess now that we're talking about Bronx,
yeah,
it's been a bit since you've been there. You were head brewer there, and that was a big production space doing. I feel like they were saying 10,000, but in my time there, we were probably doing closer to like 6,000 barrels a year.
yeah,
So I'm not sure at your peak what it was, but I'd still call that a production brewery, especially
for sure,
based on the volume that moved through there.
for
Um,
sure.
how has it been adjusting? Because you've gone back and forth a few times. You've been at a couple other like production-esque breweries and some other smaller breweries too. So like you've kind of been back and forth, but I don't know. Do you miss production brewing? Is there anything that specifically that you miss about it? Um, yeah, I guess just talk about the differences between being a single brewer at a 5 barrel system instead of the head brewer in charge of a team of 6 to 8 people brewing on a 25 barrel system 2 to 3 times every single day.
Yeah, yeah. That life was rough for a little while. I mean, it was cool, man. Like Bronx, I owe them a ton of credit. Like that's where I got my start professionally, and I learned so many things, And I think the main takeaway was like, and I did listen to the episode with you and Nick, and um, like a place like that sets you up for anything, almost any situation you could be in a brewery setting. Um, it so many things go wrong, and it's crazy.
You
Like
learn how
learning
to
to step back, just take a breath, think, don't panic. Don't panic is like the biggest piece of advice I could give anybody in production brewing. It's just like some like things are gonna go wrong. Don't panic. A lot of times it's the simplest thing you could even think of, but you're panicking. So you're like, wow,
yeah.
what is it? You're like grab a million hoses or like whatever, and then hot water's flying around, burning people, and like that's when like things start to go wrong, But like, don't panic, and like you could figure it out. You just gotta like take your time and think about it.
Yeah, you
Um,
definitely learn how to think on your feet a little bit quicker too there. Like
yeah, we were definitely at one point doing 10,000 barrels in house.
okay, okay.
That was during my tenure as head brewer there. It was like 6,500 or 7,000, and we ramped it up to 10,000 at one point, and then I don't remember why or when it would like go back down, but we were we were we were pushing beer out of there. It was kind of insane.
Yeah.
Turning and turning all the time. And like, yeah, I don't know. I think the one thing, like I miss working with people,
Yep. Yep, me
having a
too,
team
man.
and people to like talk to, like it keeps you sane. And like, it's just really nice to have people around, but having a place to yourself too, to like be able to breathe and think, is also really nice. So like, I don't know. I like both. It doesn't matter what setting I'm in. Like I like to brew, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you can make it fun no matter what. If you're not having fun, then like, what are you doing?
I like knowing where everything is and that everything is either clean or dirty because I was the last person to touch it. That's like that is the nicest thing about working alone is just like I I'm responsible for everything, but I also
Yeah,
know where everything is and like the last time it was used, the last time it was cleaned, like all of these things.
exactly. Yeah.
And not that like I think that the crew that we had at Bronx was very on top of everything, so like you never really had to worry about that. But it's
Exactly.
still like there's an extra level of peace of mind knowing that like I know that this is fine because it
Exactly.
was me. Or
Yeah.
I know that this is not fine because it was me. So now I'm
Yeah.
gonna clean it because that's what I is on my schedule for today. Like you
I
just
mean,
there's never a surprise.
exactly. Yeah. There are definitely a lot of surprises, but you deal with them. Sometimes they're a little bit more frustrating than others, but
Yeah.
yeah, I miss working with people. I miss teaching people. I loved teaching people about brewing, and I don't really get to do that anymore. A future goal is to have another internship program when we could find like funding to help us do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love teaching people, and I miss that a lot.
I mean, the
You're doing
last
great.
myself included, the last three people on this podcast worked under you and learned
Yeah,
under you. And
wild.
anytime there's an event going on at any bar or brewery in New York City, you can bet that there's at least seven people who have passed through the Bronx under you there. So I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like it's really cool to like. I left Bronx at a weird time, but I had to like work on Blind Cat. But it's really cool to see everybody, almost every single person that we train, doing like something awesome right now.
Yeah.
Working at like some of the best breweries in the country. It's like it's incredible. But I don't miss hurting myself as much.
Yeah, I do. I will say I do miss running up and down those stairs 85
Oh
times
yeah.
a day. When I started working at the Bronx, I definitely lost a couple of pounds. And
Oh yeah.
now I think there were what like 18 steps on there or something. That was a tall brew house. And doing triple
Yeah.
turns, you're just like flying, and it was all manual. So every time you had to open a valve, anytime you were knocking out, anytime you're doing anything, you're up and down those stairs doing something. Now I got four steps and
Yeah.
every valve is pneumatic, so I don't have to really touch like for runoff and for like opening to the drain. Those are the only manual valves that I have to touch during my brew day. So
I did make sure that our brew house is very manual, but like you've seen our space, I definitely don't even get like a quarter of my steps in that I used to
oh
get.
yeah, it's like three steps up, and you're like, "Whew, that was you could do it in one jump if you wanted." But then the upside is falling down those is less bad. I've definitely like
Oh yeah.
slid on those Bronx ones before and caught myself in weird ways. I'm like, "Oh, that was a lot of steps. That's gonna hurt."
Yeah. Going to my kettle now is like not nearly as difficult. I don't need a ladder.
Just climb on in there.
I just jump in and jump out.
Working alone now, do you feel like it's a lot easier to get stuck in your own ways of like doing things the same way instead of like having a conversation surrounding, oh, like this time, like I guess Bronx is the best example that I could think of like being at a place to talk about something with other people and like shoot ideas off each other because that's my like biggest place that I've done that kind of thing where like, all right, Cannon Day's there, you pull a beer off the line, you're drinking, you're like, oh, this is really cool. It's like, all right, we changed this time. You all just kind of like sit and talk about it for a little bit, and then you're like, all right, well, next time we brew this beer, let's maybe try doing this instead and see how that works out. Do you find that you're kind of thinking of those things less, or are you thinking of those things more now and you're getting in your own head? Because that's kind of how I mean, we talk all the time, so you know how I am.
I call you the worried brewer.
I like
No,
that. I like that. I'm gonna trademark that.
yeah, hashtag the worried brewer. You should make that your new like Instagram handle. Um, no, I'm always thinking about like what to do next. I'm very critical of the beer I make, and I always the end goal is to like always make it the best. Like I worked on our pilsner. I probably changed that recipe like 7 times until I was like, this is it. I think this is it. And like I really do think that I'm good at where it's at now, and now the next thing is like the next beer, and like I'll never not be thinking about those things. It is just nice sometimes I have people to like talk to about it. Um, Canning day is cool. Like we don't have our own can line, so we bring in mobile canning, and like they're always down to like talk about it and tell you how they feel about it, and um, I don't know. I'm behind the bar a lot too, so like I'm always getting input from people. Like I don't think there's ever a time where I'm like just set in a certain way of doing something. It's just like this is my time to experiment. Like I have my own place. Um, there were like times in the past where I wanted to like try new things, but I didn't have the opportunity to. So like now it's like kind of like mess around until you figure out like do all the things you wanted to do and figure out what works. Every brew house
Yeah.
is different, every ingredient's different. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I don't know.
I
I
was
just like
telling
have
Nick
fun with it.
I was telling Nick about how like Bronx taught me a lot of like it taught me how to be repetitive in brewing and like achieve the same things of like this is your mash pH, this is your knockout pH, this is your like kettle full gravity, this is what your knockout gravity should be, like all those things. Like it showed me like how to do that consistently and like what to do, but it never was more so on the pH side, like the why. It was kind of just like we were just hitting those numbers and I was like, okay, like we can make all these changes to like the hops and the grain, but if we're never really messing with the pH, then like I felt like now I looking back, it's like okay, like there's a lot of big changes you could do with that. But if we were trying to change something and never really thought about it from like a pH point, uh, how big were those changes, you know? But now, yeah, I feel like there I learned how to do those things. Now I'm like experimenting with the why and like the okay, they were right about that thing, or I actually prefer doing this now because I like have been messing around and trying this acid here and all of these things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's cool to be able to just like kind of take the reins on those kinds of things. Be like, you know what? I'm actually like I wasn't super stoked on that beer last time. Like it was good, but it could be better. Like let's try and make all of these adjustments. Not like, oh, this
Yeah.
one thing, which like maybe that won't give you the most consistent results of making little tweaks at a time, but I try little tweaks at a time, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's a couple of things that change, and then you're like, oh, this one's way better. And then you're like, all right, I'm gonna do
I did three
that
different
exact
things.
thing next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll understand the breakdown of like, oh, well, this is attributed to this and this is attributed to this.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things I learned was like you can't like if I brewed like World Gone Hazy at Blind Cat, it would be totally different,
Yeah.
you know? And I thought not like taking a recipe that we brewed at Bronx, but like maybe like a similar hop schedule on
Hmm.
the hot side. It doesn't really work the same way at Blind Cat. Like the
True.
beers come out
True.
very, very bitter.
Yeah.
So you have to experiment until you figure out what works
Yeah.
best on your own system,
Yeah, I
So
mean, the boil off rate is different. You're on electric, they were on
exactly.
steam. It's yeah,
Yeah,
all these just even the water difference is huge.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, always just messing around.
All right, this seems like a good time for the halfway point. So we're going to take a short break for this message and then come right back for some more of this conversation with Manny Salvatori.
Today's episode is brought to you by StompStickers.com, trusted by thousands of breweries across the country. They've been printing for over 30 years, and they know beer branding inside and out. Whether you need beer labels, keg collars, coasters, beer boxes, or more, they've got the expertise you need, all backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Try your first run with stompstickers.com and get 15% off with code TRY15. That's TRY15 by visiting stompstickers.com. This German flavor break is brought to you by Weyermann Specialty Malts, crafted in Bamberg, Germany, and trusted by brewers worldwide for depth, color, and flavor. With a portfolio of over 90 malts, Weyermann provides the tools to build anything from crisp pilsners with Pilsner Malt to rich Märzens layered with Munich and Vienna. Even complex dark beers using Caramunich and Special W. Whether you're refining a classic European style or pushing modern recipes, order Weyermann from RahrBSG. As an industry-leading keg management partner, Keg Logistics delivers premium stainless steel kegs with the flexibility you truly need. Whether you're kegging your first batch or scaling your distribution, choose the program that fits. Rent to own, flexible term leasing, or pay per fill. Get top quality kegs without massive upfront costs and terms that grow with you. Thousands of brewers, cider makers, and wineries trust Keg Logistics to keep production flowing. Head to keglogistics.com/allaboutbeer for your custom quote. Keg Logistics, your kegs, your choice.
Welcome back. All right, so I feel like we got pretty deep into the brewing part of it. Let's talk about being a business owner, and I guess being a business owner who is the head brewer and also bartend sometimes. How is it juggling all of those things?
It takes time. I feel like we're still like not able to relax yet. We've been working on Blind Cat for probably like 3 years now, so it's open for a year and a half, but working on it for a very long time. It's mainly my wife Brittany and myself. I handle production. I also bartend sometimes. I'm also like outside sales. We can self distribute, so I'm outside sales. I do all the deliveries. There's offsite events. We have a couple part time bartenders that help us either with those or in the tap room while we're at those. And then Britt handles most of the events, almost all the events, all of our social media. Pretty much manages the tap room and a lot of other things. But there's always just so many things. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I still have a list from like the day we actually opened that I like things I haven't gotten to yet, you know? But we're making it work. Like we love what we do. We love the community that we have in our tap room. Like our customer base is absolutely incredible. We have really cool events. Um, it's amazing, and like if you love what you do and you're passionate about it, then like you'll make it work no matter how tired you are. You know, and we're like both zombies.
Yeah.
We've been zombies for like a year, um, but we're grinding, man, and we're I think one more year and we could maybe take a step back. You know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that seems like the benefit. It's the benefit and also like the not harm. Harm isn't the right word, but you're working for yourself, you're not working for someone else. So
exactly. Yeah.
like you feel like you have the ability to put yourself into that because it's all for you. And I think that
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's reflected in the tap room. I think that's reflected in the beer. I think that goes a long way with the customer. So like
For sure. For
I
sure.
think it makes all that extra work that you are doing being just the two of you guys doing like 98% of the work. I'll give James some credit there for
Yeah,
his work in the tap room.
James and Emma get a little bit of credit. They do help.
But but
Uh,
yeah, I think the being the owner aspect definitely probably helps push you more than it would if you were working for someone else, which is awesome.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I don't like. I'm sure a lot of people listening to this don't know who we are. Like, we're a Blind Cat Beer Company. We're a small, family-owned and run independent brewery, and almost like in the sticks in Pennsylvania. And like, we we don't have investors. Where it's literally just us. Our life is on the line. So like, you do what you can to make it work. You know. But we also like to have fun with it, and I think that everything we do is fun and cool and different, and it's just so worth it, man. Like anybody that wants to do it, I think if their heart's set on it, they should definitely do it. And yeah, there's just a lot of roles, and like that's not even including the books or like reapplying for permits or like doing the taxes every month, and there's just so many things, and it's a lot to keep up on. But if you like have even a small team, like if Britt wasn't involved in this, I'd be losing my mind for sure.
Yeah.
Um, if you have the right team, then you figure it out. You know.
Yeah. Is opening a business anything like you thought it'd be? Are there any things that are easier than you thought they would be opening a business? Or, I mean, I'm sure yes to most things being harder than you thought they'd be, or just like not even harder, just more confusing or more difficult and just yeah, not as easy.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Um, there's a lot of BS like behind the scenes that nobody sees until you're like in it, and it could be like a food truck, a food truck dropping oil in your parking lot, and then the city gets involved, or it could be like we don't own the building, so it could be like a landlord that's like not that great, and there's just a lot of stuff that people don't see. Yeah, I mean, the trade-off is that like we get to do whatever we want, and brew whatever we want, have whatever events we want. No one could tell us no, really. So yeah, it's way more difficult, but we are making the best of it and doing the things we want to do, you know?
Yeah, it seems like the benefits are kind of in your favor in the grand scheme of things, despite all the tough work.
Yeah, there's a lot of BS, but again, if you're doing what you love, it's worth it. And we love our little brewery and tap room.
Do you have any advice for anyone who's trying to open their own brewery? Anything that you wish you knew prior to opening your own brewery? Yeah.
I think uh it's a good question. I mean there's so many resources now that like I feel like anybody that's done it is willing to talk about it. Like if somebody wanted to like do it, they could literally just reach out to me and talk to me. I'll talk to somebody all day about it. There are podcasts. I remember like we were like a year and a half in, and there was a podcast called like Start a Brewery Podcast or something, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, all right, we did these right, we did this right, we did this right, and then there's something like, oh shit, I wish I did that, and um, like things like that. I would say that like literally just keep making a list of the things that you want and like don't budge. Like we kind of got the shaft on two things. One was we were supposed to have like it's hard to picture without seeing our tap room, but to separate the production, like our brewery it's an open space concept. So like you're in the tap room, you're in the production space, like it's all one room. It's just separated by like a chain, basically. That was supposed to be a stand-up like bar where you could just stand like a drink rail where you could just stand and have a beer with like gates where I needed gates to like get grain in and out or like whatever. But the day we were bringing the tanks in, they moved all the sprinklers out like 3 feet, and that just like changed the whole floor plan. So like that's like one way we got the shaft, and then the other one is our garage door. We have a garage door, like a roll up door, and it was supposed to be a full size door, but then they installed a frame with a smaller door. And like I don't have like a forklift access or like even really a pallet jack access. So like if we get a pallet of grain or two pallets of grain, I'm bringing every bag in at one at a time. Hopefully it's not raining.
Can you build
Uh,
a ramp up from probably not because that's such a it's a narrow little alleyway, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Can you like I've been to venues that have like ramps that they like add to the stage to bring all the gear down. Can you get like two ramps so then you could get a forklift to bring it up or a
The
pallet jack or
forklift
something?
would drive right through the ceiling. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's very
Also
low. It's low ceilings, yeah.
the idea of just having you think the skid takes up a lot of space. Imagine having a forklift in there.
Yeah, exactly. I'd probably just like build a shed for it
That's
somewhere.
three tables right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need all the table space we could get. Um, I would say like I know some people personally that like never really had actual brew house or brewing. They homebrewed, but they didn't have like actual brewery experience or production experience before they opened a brewery, and then they like end up not staying open. So like everybody should get even just cleaning kegs or which is very important, but like just some way to get your foot in the door to get some experience to see if it's actually what you want to do.
Yeah.
And
Also a bad
I'll always stand by that.
a
Um, I did the internship at Bronx. That's how I started my career because I was a home brewer and I just wanted to see how I would feel about actually doing it for a living. And I like fell in love with it immediately. So
here
like,
you are.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I love what I do. And yeah, I think if you at least get some experience in a brewery, you'll figure out if you want to do it or not for real.
And also don't make poor build out decisions because then eventually someone else might have to deal with those poor build out decisions and then they're like, who built this place? This place sucks.
It's
So,
funny. Like people like there's another local brewery comes. He's like, how do you like make it work in this little brew house? And I'm like, I make it work, man. Like I make it work. Like when if you see the place on a brew day, like the first row of tables and chairs, I have to move completely out of the way. And like anything, like I have so many things tucked like behind the brew house, down the side of the brew house, and like I pull it all out, you know. It's like there's just stuff everywhere. But then like
yeah,
literally like an hour before we open, I'm like, okay, I gotta like
put
get
it all
all
back.
yeah, exactly. I'm just like throwing stuff behind the browse and stuff like that. It's ridiculous, but like we make it work, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's always a
Even
nail
things like floor drains, man, there's no reason that you should have to take every single floor drain out of the floor drain when you're brewing a beer, but that's what I got to do because whoever
biter.
built the floor drains there,
Well, that's another thing.
they go straight down and there's no room for flow and it's like only this deep. Yeah, it's a whole thing, but it's fine.
Yeah,
It's an extra 5, 10 minutes every day of just
yeah,
like moving stuff around and getting stuff in order. And at the end of the day, it does work. So who
yeah,
am I to
exactly.
complain?
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, you can make it work if you want it to work, you know.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
my other advice would be like if you could buy the place, probably buy the place. But like nobody around here knew who we were, so we initially wanted to buy a farm and like be on a farm, but for like a kind of a startup brewery to like do that, it was very expensive and like the fear of like nobody knowing who you are is like
yeah. You
it's
need
a
that foot
big
traffic.
task, you know. So we like found a spot, we're leasing a space. So if you can buy it and like make it your own, like definitely do that. And then if you can't do that and you're leasing a space, get anything in writing. And drains is why I'm saying that is because in our lease, trench drain, like we were supposed to have one big trench drain from like one end of the brewery to the other. And the one day I came in and there was like these three little like hole drains. I don't even know what you call them, but it's like what, like 2 inches, you know, it's like a 2 inch circle in the floor. And I talked to the landlord and the architect, and I was like, this is like not what we talked about doing. And then the next day the concrete was poured. So there's like no going back, you know? But and now that landlord's not the landlord. So like we can't even be like, hey man, the new landlord, we can't be like, you owe us a trench drain, you know, because he wasn't the landlord at the time. So yeah,
Yeah,
figure out exactly what you want to do. Don't budge and get everything in writing if you have a landlord.
yeah. No, that's definitely good advice, I think.
Maybe pick an area that's not oversaturated.
Yeah, definitely that too. So don't open a brewery in New York City.
I
There's
mean,
a lot.
the beer scene there is amazing though.
It
So
is. No, and I do think that there are certainly some area. I mean, the Bronx has no breweries now, so I think that there's definitely a market up there for something, and a lot of northern Queens doesn't have anything. Like Western, like Astoria and Sunnyside has stuff. One brewery just closed there. LIC is probably the most beer-rich area in Queens, but there's like so much between from Astoria all the way over to Nassau County. I don't think there's one brewery in that area. So yeah, that's me saying don't open a brewery in New York City is a lie. There's a lot of space. It's not oversaturated. There's just some areas that are oversaturated. But you know what? Everyone's making great beer, so it's kind of awesome. And then it gives people an excuse to go to 3 or 4 different places if they're going to an area for a night. They want to try all these different breweries. So I think those are the perks, the pros and cons, I should say, to being in an oversaturated area. So yeah.
yeah, it's cool. I mean, like around here, we have one brewery very close to us. It's like 3 minutes up the road. But then other than that, you're driving like 20 minutes or so to. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess it's not that different in New York City. If you're driving to a brewery, it's probably gonna take 20 minutes to get there. You know,
that's
even if it's
true.
like a couple blocks away. But um, yeah, I don't know. I do wish there was like a few more around here. You
Yeah.
know, like Scranton is like the next closest one. Like somewhere in between here and Scranton would be really cool. So people could like bop around. You know.
That's the space for your farm brewery, man. Then you're the closest one and then the next closest one and then
Yeah, that'd be fun.
gotta buy the farm, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Downtown Farms.
Before we wrap it up, I guess you wanna go a little more detailed into to brewing just so Everyone here gets their money's worth.
Uh, sure. I mean, uh,
I guess
all I got is I really say is like have fun with it, and uh, yeah, don't open a brewery if you don't love brewing. You have to love brewing and working with people and customer service if you're gonna like try to open up your own space. Otherwise, it's just not gonna last. You're wasting your time.
yeah,
And be yourself. Don't be afraid to mess around with weird ingredients. And yeah, if you're not having fun, then why do it? You know?
yeah. What beer do you think you're best at making and why?
Oh, that's a good question, actually.
And I guess
Um,
you can get into ingredients, you can get into hop schedule, water, whatever, however much or little
well,
detail as you want to give for this.
that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think I make really good lagers in general. We have really good lager water. It is filtered. I mean, it's only through a carbon filter, like a small carbon filter. Like our
Mhm.
water before that is like a little chlorine, but we have really good lager water. I add a little bit of salt to it, not much. Um, and I just love. I don't know that a lot of people around here spun, and I've fallen in love with spunding. I think it's so fun, and it just adds like a different, like a little bit more depth to a beer. And I feel like anybody can make a lager, but making a good lager is tough. And I just really enjoy making them. And a lot of people around here will tell me I make really good dark beer, and I don't really know why that is. Uh, but people really like our dark beers, and doing something right there. I can't really put my finger on it because we don't really make a lot of them. But yeah, I think lagers, and we have different kinds. We have our pilsner is basically like an American pilsner, but it's somewhere in between like a Czech and a German pilsner. And then we have like our Italian pilsner, like flies right now, and that's a really nice beer. We have a Mexican style lager with lime. We've done like again the shiitake dunkel lager, the imperial pilsner with mushrooms, and like they've all done really well, and I'm really proud of them. Um, so yeah, I would just say lagers in general. I think we make really good lagers with really good foam and um, really good flavors, and just a lot of depth to them. And I don't know, they're really nice, and I'm super proud. Like I never really got to working in like some of those fast paced production breweries. You don't really get time to lager a beer, and I finally get to do that, and I'm like super stoked.
I think the turnaround time that I was given for dwell time for loggers was 18 days, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's not enough. I know
yeah,
we're centrifuging it, but that's not enough.
yeah, yeah. I don't have a
So,
centrifuge. Um, but it's nice to actually let beer lager and let it do its thing. And I'm like very stoked when I don't even have to find a beer, and just let it do its thing on its own and clear up. And it's just like the best feeling ever. So I'm super stoked that I finally get to do that, and really proud of the lagers we put out. Got some good IPAs, but the lagers crush for me.
it's all about the cricket.
I love that beer.
Love that cat. Don't even know him. Love that
I love
cat.
that cat. I love that cat too. I'm surprised he hasn't like screamed at all during this.
All right. Well, this feels like a good place to wrap this up. Thanks for hanging out, Manny.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on and like testing my knowledge, man. I like I like doing things like this. I don't get to do them often, so it's really cool.
Really puts you on. I could have put you on the spot more. I didn't.
You can.
No, it's all good. All right. Well, Manny will be back on the next episode of this show as the host having a conversation with a brewer of his choosing. That'll be on the air next week, so make sure you tune in for that. A reminder, visit allaboutbeer.com and follow on social media at allaboutbeer. To join journalism in the beer space, check out allaboutbeer.com/support. I'm Bobby Sciacca. Thank you for listening to the Brewer to Brewer podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by StompStickers.com, trusted by thousands of breweries across the country. They've been printing for over 30 years, and they know beer branding inside and out. Whether you need beer labels, keg collars, coasters, beer boxes, or more, they've got the expertise you need, all backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Try your first run with stompstickers.com and get 15% off with code TRY15. That's TRY15 by visiting stompstickers.com. This German flavor break is brought to you by Weyermann Specialty Malts, crafted in Bamberg, Germany, and trusted by brewers worldwide for depth, color, and flavor. With a portfolio of over 90 malts, Weyermann provides the tools to build anything from crisp pilsners with Pilsner Malt to rich Märzens layered with Munich and Vienna. Even complex dark beers using Caramunich and Special W. Whether you're refining a classic European style or pushing modern recipes, order Weyermann from RahrBSG. As an industry-leading keg management partner, Keg Logistics delivers premium stainless steel kegs with the flexibility you truly need. Whether you're kegging your first batch or scaling your distribution, choose the program that fits. Rent to own, flexible term leasing, or pay per fill. Get top quality kegs without massive upfront costs and terms that grow with you. Thousands of brewers, cider makers, and wineries trust Keg Logistics to keep production flowing. Head to keglogistics.com/allaboutbeer for your custom quote. Keg Logistics, your kegs, your choice.